If Santa was real, what would be the best explanation as to why he delivers expensive gifts to rich people and inexpensive gifts to poor people? When I was a kid I asked my mother where Santa got all the money for presents. She said Mommy's bank account. I guess that explained how expensive they'd be. Santa robbed you, Mom? Why were you so poor? Santa was taking money from your mom's account to pay for every kid's toys, not just yours. You'd be a retired billionaire if it wasn't for Santa. This is what I told my daughter. I still have to pay Santa because he still has to pay his own bills. My parents said similar, essentially that things he couldn't make, like game systems, parents had to help out with the cost. It kept the magic that certain things were made by Santa too. Santa used to make the presents himself with slave labor, but these days he lets China do that. In exchange for presents he supplies Xi Jinping with magic reindeer. Xi grinds up their antlers into boner pills. Santa's presents were always labeled with Mom's handwriting, so they were definitely in cahoots. My parents always said they had to pay Santa for the gifts. Santa the capitalist. So Santa is Amazon? Similar case for me. My parents said there was a Santa tax that had to be paid, so I assumed they had to pay a fraction of the cost. My parents started with that. Then when I was about 12 or so and my bro was about 3 or so, they changed their tune to well it is all relative so he has to bring you presents that fit in with others around the neighborhood or it will make others jealous. It worked really well. I told my sons the same thing. I showed them my pay stubs and told them that SSI stood for Santa Savings Investment. He doesn't want people to know he is real. The Secret Santa. Plausible deniability. The greatest trick Santa ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. Santa is an anagram for Satan BTW. Hold on now, this actually sounds like a fun theory. I'd watch a movie about a Santa Claus spending the off-season spreading anti-Santa propaganda. Not sure if Secret Santa or Santa Propaganda is a better title. Same reason God lets kids die of cancer and doesn't help police find rapists. It would ruin the ground illusion. Continue this thread. Noah replies. I was told that Santa only brought the stuff in the stocking, an orange, nuts, little toys. And all the big presents were always from the parents, although some parents told their kids those were also from Santa. So, rich kids got a lot of big stuff, and a stocking with much the same as I got. During lean years, I might not get much from my parents, but I would get the same as every other kid in my stocking. My parents were the same. We were quite poor, so I didn't always get presents from my parents, but I always got a stocking with treats and trinkets. Stocking was from Santa, and my parents would be upfront about the presents, even the community-donated ones. Our kids' preschool kind of encouraged this. Santa brings a couple small presents and the rest are from the parent. That way the poor kids don't think they were bad. And we get to take credit, so it is a win-win. I've always thought it was better to just be honest about it. Santa was a real person who lived a long time ago, and he was so generous and courageous that we still honor him today by giving gifts in his name. But, some kids think he is really bringing the gifts, and we don't ever want to agitate the magical thinking people, so don't correct them. But I don't have kids of my own, so what do I know? Edit, hehe. Okay, I certainly would not want anyone to exclude their kid from holiday fun. But a kid can have holiday fun without believing the fairy tale part of Santa. If anything, it gets in the way of kids learning what Santa is really about, generosity, caring, and courage of your convictions. But I also feel the same way about Christmas as I do about religion in general. It should be entirely up to the parents, and I'll go along with whatever shenanigans y'all are down for. Heck, a couple more years and my beard will be white enough to play Santa. Every adult should read this and understand it. We decided to say this to our kids early on, and for rich or for poor I won't have my kids inadvertently making other kids feel like shit. It's even more of a responsibility when the kids get older and realize about Santa that it becomes their task to keep that magic alive and non-discriminatory for the next generation. I like this. Makes the rich parents look bad by lying to their kids. Santa Free versus Santa and membership. Where do I sign up? Santa Prime. Santa Premium. That would be horrible because let's say that you need to renew your membership every year for just one gift in one night. Santa Pro Max Plus. They didn't advise of any extra charges, did they? Noah replies. In his Christmas letters, our son used to request bigger gifts from Santa and smaller ones from us, as a courtesy. Yet, mine was all ready to ask Santa for the smaller gift but then changed his mind and asked Santa for the expensive gift. He excitedly told me that Santa gifts are free, so that saved me money. I mean, at least he was considerate, LMAO. That's a good lad. I don't have kids, but I didn't know my parents' financial situation until I was older. I was gonna keep it that way when I have kids. My half-brother has known my dad's and stepmom's financial situation since he was young, and he would never ask for stuff because they were broke. My son is similar. Today he was writing his Christmas letter to Santa. Mommy, since you don't have a lot of money, I'll just ask Santa for the Nintendo Switch and you can get me something smaller. I did this as a kid XD after I find out I felt so bad for my mother. We do it the opposite. Santa brings the stocking stuffers and some other little stuff, and the bigger gifts are from us, so he knows Santa doesn't just favor the fortunate. If he gets an expensive item, he is aware it is BC we as a family can swing it. Noah replies. Cookie quality. I like this one, bribing Santa. Are expensive cookies really better than cheap cookies though? No one wants that gluten-free soy, butter-free cookie. He doesn't want parents to feel too inadequate, so he delivers gifts that are similar to what the parent could afford. Best possible answer. Hands down. That's what I heard as well. Mommy, why didn't I get a PS5 for Christmas? Well, sweetie, Santa didn't want Daddy to feel bad about not being able to get you one sooner because he spent it at the bar last night. That's what my mom used to tell me when I'd ask why Santa bought the other kids consoles, haha. Though growing up poor when I was very young, on time I complained that my well-off friends got better presents. My mom was upset and told me that she worked really hard to buy them for me. It actually made me feel a lot better, and if anything made Christmas feel more special for me. Sometimes you just gotta tell your kids the truth. Sometimes you just gotta tell your kids the truth. I've found it better to just always tell kids and people in general the truth. It builds long-term trust and doesn't set them up for later disappointment like a lie does. Though not to be mistaken with brutal honesty, complete honesty doesn't have to be brutal if you have good communication skills. I don't think any of the kids from where I am bought into the Santa thing. 1. We were in a tropical country, so it's a ridiculous outfit to have in our Christmas weather. 2. No chimneys out here for Santa to sneak in. He'll have to go through windows, and most windows have grills and he's not fitting through them. Plus, we don't sleep on Christmas Eve. There's a lot of festivities happening on the eve to the early morning of Christmas Day. If Santa was real, he'll be invited to sit down, eat, and drink with my uncles. He'll be too drunk to manage his sleigh after that. My parents always told me the truth about Santa and I never felt like I was missing out. If anything, it made me glad both then and now that I was never deceived. I tell kids that their parents send Santa money to buy the materials to make the toys. The more money sent, the more / better toys received. I also make the point that this is why it is important to donate toys around the holidays. Donated toys are sent to Santa so he has things to give to children whose parents didn't have enough money. Interesting take. This is a very well thought out response. I could even seeing this working out on a small scale. This is very good. Another thing I've seen is that parents have begun to not let Santa gift their kids the super expensive things because it makes those less fortunate feel bad. Instead they have Santa buy extras, like let's say your parents got you a Switch. Well, Santa already knew your parents were going to do that, and since that's the only thing you asked for, he got you a game or two instead to go with it. Or they have Santa get them more meaningful things. For example, one of my little nieces last year really wanted to learn how to crochet like I do. So I gave a crochet pattern of her favorite thing of mine with the promise of letting her use my items and that I would teach her everything I know. She loved it. Her parents got her and her siblings an Xbox to all share. And Santa got her lots of rainbow yarns, a cute crochet set with all the tools she needs, and her very own new crochet patterns from beginner-friendly to advanced. Freaking ecstatic. I then feigned shock with everyone else and excitedly told her how it looked like she didn't need to borrow my things after all. That is really good actually. A lot better than telling my little sister that Santa is addicted to crack and actually owes every parent money in return for not delivering toys so he has more money for crack. I do this as well. It was the only way to explain why we shop for toys to donate every year. It was making Santa look like a jerk to skip only some kids. Capitalist Santa is capitalist. Yes, this is also what we tell our kids.
Like and subscribe for more Reddit content. Watch the next video at the top of your screen.